I've had a request to make a video discussing some tips and some ideas to create music that you've memorized. So I'd like to discuss some memorization techniques today. But before we do that, I'd like to set out some basic rules when it comes to memorizing a piece for piano. Now obviously, with sheet music, it's always there for you to reference, but sometimes you need a mastery of a song to make you a better performer, and it's always good to have in your quiver when you do play. But before we begin, there's some basic rules I'd like to talk about before you actually pick a song to memorize. Here's a few of the rules. Make sure you pick a song that you won't get bored of too easily. Pick a song that sounds good in just the right hand. And there's reasons I'll discuss that later. Pick a song that most people would recognize, but that's also not cliche. As an example, a little bit cliche, even though Fur Elise is a beautiful song. Pick a song that you can play for most events. Pick a song that's both easy to build in both its improvisation routines and also to be able to make more complex using traditional sheet music. I'd say classical songs are a great starting point for this. And then also pick a song that have notes close to each other. So for today's video, we're going to focus primarily on a song by Johann Pachelbel called Canon in D. A lot of times it's been referenced that this is his one-hit wonder in the classical genre. This song should sound familiar to you. You hear a lot at weddings and other events. Now, there's a reason why I also chose this song, because it fulfills all the criteria that I just laid out. Now, some of you, it might still be cliche to play this song, but regardless, I'm going to still try it. So I'd actually like to say there's three ways to memorize a song. You can either do it the traditional way where you're looking at sheet music, you see the sheet music, and then you play it, and then you just do it by rote over and over and over. Or there's another way where the notes fall down in some software or YouTube video, which I'll get into later, or watching someone else play. Now, this next part's pretty straightforward because obviously if I looked at the first line in Canon in D, I know it goes E, D, C, B, A, G, A, B. Nothing can replace doing that rote kind of exercise where you're doing this over and over. You do this over and over. And then when you feel comfortable, you move on to the next line. Now, in Canon in D, there's actually the first three lines are about the same thing. So if I moved on to the fourth line, it would sound like this. When you're memorizing sheet music like this, make sure you find these anchor points or these benchmarks to know where you are when you're memorizing. There's little tricks that you can do. As an example, when you go through this first line, always remember that after that B is going to be the next part. So if you could split this song into two parts to memorize, let's say you wanted to memorize this song by the end of the day. You wanted to memorize the first 4 lines. Well, that's easy because the first 3 lines are the same in the song. And of course, if it's playing more deliberate, it would be like this. And of course, you would do that 3 times. Then for the 4th line, it would sound like this. It's pretty straightforward. There's nothing that can replace just doing over and over. But I don't think you came to this video to learn something that is honestly common sense. Doing something over and over, you're going to memorize it. Now, what I'd actually like to get into next is one of the ways I started teaching myself how to play, how to memorize, really. When I first started teaching myself, I did commit a lot of things to memory because back then I didn't know how to read sheet music. So what I'm going to talk about next is an app called Synthesia. I apologize if I mispronounced it, but this one right here, this is a great app. Now you're going to see this on YouTube. You're going to see videos similar to this as the notes fall down. Now what I've done is I've turned on different features. I have the keys, there's measure lines in here, and of course here's the actual song itself. It would look like this. And what you can do is you isolate the certain parts. So the cool thing about this software is you can slow it down like you could a YouTube video, and it gives you a chance. So remember how we started out the video? We started out with E, remember E? And then we go to D next. And if you feel like it's not a challenge, speed it up just a little bit. And you do this video and you follow it over and over this game, and that's gonna help you memorize the song. I mean, the same thing with the YouTube video. You're gonna see a lot of YouTube videos out there that do this. I'm not gonna reference them. There's just so many to reference. And I'm also not gonna rip off their work. There's a lot of great YouTube videos. If you have a song that you wanna memorize, just type in the name of the song on YouTube, and then it will have those falling down notes. And I encourage you, go to the settings on YouTube and change the speed where it can slow down for you to catch your breath. Now, let me show you the coolest thing about memorization that I actually came up with a long time ago. Well, I say I came up with it, but it's not exactly very fancy. In fact, you can tell how sophisticated looking this is, right? I mean, I just got a pen and grabbed this, but I want to bring something to your attention. This is kind of sheet music for rookies, or sheet music for people who have no idea what they're doing. And this is the type of sheet music that I built when I was playing. So to watch a video like that I just showed you with those falling down notes, or I'd play a game like that, and I would actually write down the sheet music for it. So on this, you can tell that the E is the first one, but you see all those arrows in the next keys? That's telling me go left, 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 and then it goes up to the A, and I go right. Now it's gonna make sense because when I play, now there's a 5 right there. That 5 means it's the 5th E on the piano. Now that only applies to 88 key piano. But the reason why I brought in the 5 is to remind me where I begin. So if I followed my sheet music exactly as written, it would be like this: E5, okay? Then I would go left to go to D, C left, B left, A left, G left, and then A right, B right, E, I was right. So see, that's the problem with the sheet music. It's not very sophisticated, but I knew to end on B and I would start again at E. And you can play around with it and draw like a measure line there if you wanted to, but this is just getting my directions down for this. So this is something that I put together in concert with this type of app. I would use this type of app and I would see what was going on, and I would mark down on the paper until I was trying to learn to read the sheet music. But honestly, the sheet music that I'm playing off of is the same sheet music I've been talking about on my whole channel, that easy play stuff. All you have to understand is that down is left, okay, and then right is up. So if I looked at this sheet music, I may not have emphasized this earlier in my channel. If you look at something like this E, and then you go down, if you go down, that's left. So just like I was showing you, E, D, C, B, and we're going left the whole time because it's going down. And then as soon as it gets to that G, you go right because it goes up. But sometimes people are still intimidated by the sheet music. So whatever method you come up with, just come up with something that's going to encourage you to memorize it. Let's see. The next thing is someone else showing. If you find someone else who's playing, you can watch them playing with your hand, or their hand rather, and you can emulate them on that. I've done that too, where I've seen people play some blues routines and I watch what they're doing. You know, like if they were doing something kind of cool like this, I'd have to slow that down to know what I just saw. A lot of the blues stuff that I learned, or jazzy kind of sounding stuff, I just saw by watching other people play and emulating it. And next in this video, I'm just gonna play some songs for you that are great examples that you can do, and then I'll just finish out. So let me go to it here. Let's go here, and then I'm gonna go. Okay, so I'm gonna give you an example of a song that fulfilled all those criteria that I just told you at the beginning of my video. Greensleeves, for example. Sorry, did that one wrong. But I wouldn't get bored of this song very easily because it's a beautiful song. It's great sounding in just the right hand. And eventually when you feel comfortable, you can obviously add the left hand. But it still sounds great with just the right hand. And this is obviously a song that most people would recognize. You can play this song for a lot of events. You can add a lot of improvisation to it and make it more complex. This type of sheet music is great because you can get more complex sheet music for it and make it sound even better. And it really fulfills all those criteria. And so that's just one example is green sleeves, and there's a bunch of other Jazzy Joy of Man's Desiring. Claire de Lune, this one's popular. If it doesn't sound familiar to you, listen to it now. One of the most beautiful piano songs written. Okay, well, I hope I explained it well enough. It's just a quick video discussing how to memorize a song, some basic rules for it, and also the benefits of memorizing a song is that, of course, it will always be with you in your brain. And then a lot of professional musicians actually memorize a piece before they play it because you have a mastery of it. I will tell you there's one downside to memorizing a song. Sometimes if you memorize a song, it can compete with your brain when you're trying to play it off the sheet music. So just be very careful when you're memorizing. Try to have sheet music with it so you know where you are in the piece. That's today's video, and make sure that you subscribe because the more subscribers I have, the more content I'm able to create just based on the number of subscribers, which is going to motivate me even more to make more content. And then also, this video is an example. In the comments, if you have something that you're looking for, please let me know. Thank you. Have a great day.